In every conversation with those small business owners, we heard, I have a hard time retaining these folks. I have a hard time getting them to step up to the plate. How do I get them to care?
Yeah.
That was really the inspiration behind Reins. If you join any tech company, any large company, you're going to get a stock options package. Yep. So we kind of operate under the assumption that equity works.
Right.
Why don't the millions of small independent businesses in this country that power this economy leverage those incentives? Well, I learned it's for innocent reasons. It's actually really difficult to do and uniquely difficult for LLCs, S-Corp type independent businesses, which are all the amazing sort of tradespeople and service companies that you and I spend a lot of time talking with.
How have you seen companies respond once you implement what you guys offer?
It's amazing. Like the best contractors, like with or without Reins, are ones that are super transparent. The folks that are talking about their company goals and talking about metrics and very transparent about what's under the hood are also not so surprisingly, the customers that want to roll out something like Reins. We've seen with specific employees, they'll show their spouse and they'll say, "Oh wow, like, you have a career. Like you have a real skin in the game here." 94% of employees who have been granted an incentive in Reins are still employed.
Wow. Chris, thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. For those who have not had the pleasure of meeting you, please share with everyone your name, your company name, and what you guys do.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Bob. My pleasure. So my name is Chris Buttenham. I'm one of the co-founders of a company called Reins. We essentially simplify the process for contractors who want to share equity or profits with key employees in their business.
Yeah, very good. And actually, I found about you guys through one of our members, been a long friend of mine. How did you guys first connect?
If you want the honest,
I would love it because Trent is a unique guy, so I'd love to hear the story.
my founding sales guy cold called him.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it was just right time and place.
Is that right?
And since then, Trent's become a friend, and I flew out there to onboard his team in Colorado Springs, and it's been great to see, him roll things out and us to get to know each other a bit better.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
I always love learning people's genesis stories, how they got to where they are, right? So how about you? How did you get into the space? Let's even go back. Get out of school. What were you doing right away?
Yeah. So it's kind of the tale of two worlds. Okay. I'll try and keep it succinct.
No, that's all right. The podcast, I like them, drag it out. It's fine.
Yeah. So best way to describe me is I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
It's most days it's a curse, not a badge of honor. I've never really known how to work for anyone.
Okay.
So when I was in college, I actually got kicked out of business school. And I think it was probably because I was focused too much on the business I was trying to start during college. And when I graduated, I actually worked for my old man for a little while.
Okay.
He's a contractor.
Oh, interesting.
So I was on the trucks for about 5 years.
What kind of industry?
So he does like low voltage security systems and things like that.
Yeah.
And so he was in an interesting position that I hear a lot of contractors in, where they're not really looking to sell. Maybe they're open to it in some number of years. But he was just really looking at how do you get the key folks in the business to take the reins, if you will, so he doesn't have to be on a ladder at 4 p.m. on a Friday, or he can go golfing with me or something, And so anyways, that's kind of like, that was a seed that was planted.
Got it.
What led us to attend the event today? We've been watching the Certain Path podcast on YouTube for quite some time, and it just had a lot of good content, so we wanted to come and see what that content was live. Coming into this, I had no expectations of what it might be. I've never experienced anything like this before, but it proved to be a truly moving and engaging experience all the way around. My most powerful insight from this is that there are other contractors just like me, just struggling to make it, to figure it out. And it's wonderful to know that there's a network of people that can help support you and have your back. The most exciting thing, the take home here, what we're going to implement is going to be the call taking and dispatching for profit. I can truly see from the coaches what the value of that is, and for us, that's going to be step one. I would recommend others come and experience so that they can find out what they don't know, to understand that they don't know what they don't know, and to be able to experience a community that's willing to help answer that question.
But I actually ended up starting another company after university, which eventually became what was called Obi.
Okay.
And it was an AI platform that made it easy for businesses or employees to find answers to common questions at work.
Interesting.
And it was wild. It was before like the LLM and like the AI craze that we know today.
Yeah.
Long story short, ended up selling that company in 2021.
Well, first of all, how did you find that space, right?
Yeah. Well, so funny. My dad, if I'm going to send him this, and he'll say that I can credit all my success to him.
Yeah.
But I was also inspired by working with him when I started that business, because what I learned was there's a lot of tacit knowledge built up in people's heads in these organizations, particularly service businesses.
Right.
And the solution was that these guys would just hang on to the information. And as long as you knew who to call, like that's how you would get the information you needed to be productive at your service call or your installation or what have you. Yeah. And so it's like, so we got to document this. Yeah. And that was kind of like the genesis of how we started that sort of knowledge management software.
Okay. So that was 21, you sold it.
Yeah, 21, we sold it. Just kind of peak bubble, honestly.
Yeah.
It was the right off-ramp. Someone smarter than me told me once, never miss the off-ramp, and that was certainly it.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, my only speed is entrepreneurship. And
Right.
so I knew I was going to start another thing. I had golden handcuffs at the acquirer, so I knew I had about 2 years to figure out what my next move was. And so I was really taking my time trying to think about what was next, because I didn't want to build a business to sell it. I wanted to cement a legacy. I wanted to do something really important. That sounds trite, but you know, I'm young and I wanted to spend a number of years doing something I was really passionate about.
Yeah.
And kind of saw this opportunity with baby boomers in that wealth transfer. They call it the silver tsunami.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we were kind of looking for like a wedge problem to solve within that. Started talking to a lot of business owners, again, sort of seeded by this inspiration from my old man. And originally it was the thought of actually helping these business owners pass their business off, to sell it.
Right.
For a number of reasons, decided that wasn't the business that was right for me and my co-founder to build.
Yeah.
But in every conversation with those small business owners, we heard, I have a hard time retaining these folks. I have a hard time getting them to step up to the plate. I have a hard time aligning them with screaming into the wind about gross margin and net profit. How do I get them to care?
Yeah.
And that was really the inspiration behind Reins. And we kind of took a page off a book that we know really well with technology and big businesses, where if you join any tech company, any large company, you're going to get a stock options package. Yeah. So we kind of operate under the assumption that equity works.
Right.
Why don't the millions of small independent businesses in this country that power this economy leverage those incentives? Well, I learned it's for innocent reasons. It's actually really difficult to do, and uniquely difficult for LLCs, S-corp type independent businesses, which are all the amazing sort of tradespeople and service companies that you and I spend a lot of time talking with.
Yeah, yeah. Why the niche of contractors? Just because your Genesis story with your dad, or you just felt like that's just a market, there's a lot of opportunity, and let's just specialize in that?
That's a good question. So if I'm being honest, it wasn't only the Genesis that helped, but it was really the opportunity. So I think what you're alluding to is there's no reason why we need to verticalize in this niche, But I think we saw an opportunity to go a little bit deeper and provide more specialized service.
Yeah.
And that way we can integrate with the tools that folks use, and we can speak the language that these contractors specifically speak, and we can just dial the product in a way that we couldn't if we were horizontal.
Yeah.
And I think that the opportunity is unique because when you give incentives like equity, there has to be some promise of liquidity.
Yeah.
And so given that there are liquidity opportunities with contractors, perhaps greater than in other private, business industries, that's a big reason we chose this vertical.
What you do is very unique, and I had never heard of it before. And we're going to get a lot of people that watch or listen to this that have no idea really what it is either. So, I mean, I'm sure you met some folks at the vendor show that did not. So how do you explain to people in the simplest forms of what you guys provide and what you do?
Yeah, so we specialize in a category of incentives called alternative equity. So if it's alternative equity, there must be traditional equity, right? Traditional equity is you want to give someone a piece of your company.
Right.
Well, that comes with some challenges. One, it's probably control that you don't want to give up. Even if it's a minority stake, there's a vote hanging out there.
Yep.
Often that employee isn't really looking for that liability either. They don't really understand that. And while the owner may want them to take on that liability, right, the employee doesn't really understand the gravity of that situation. Yeah. The biggest challenge with traditional equity is, in most cases, there's a tax bill without any cash to pay the tax.
Right.
You give any percentage of a business away that has any value, the IRS wants their cut.
Shocking how that works.
Right?
Yeah.
So under the guise of alternative equity, we've created a really unique framework with the help of some of the top compensation and benefits attorneys in the country.
Okay.
It's kind of like a template, if you will.
Okay.
And the way this framework works is kind of the opposite. So if folks have heard of phantom stock or profit sharing, they're essentially fancy deferred bonuses, and they fit into this really unique corner of the tax code that allows for the properties that are opposite to the traditional equity we just talked about.
Right.
So when you grant alternative equity, no tax bill up front. It's deferred until cash is owed. Mm-hmm. That could be the sale of the business later on, or it could be some dividend-like bonus, profit share, somewhere along the way.
Right.
No ownership rights, no voting rights. You don't have to open the books, and therefore no liability for those key employees. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
It's an incentive structure that allows folks to really align those employees with what matters most to the business and show them why they should care.
Absolutely. Right. How do most of your contractors deploy it? Like, they award it just up front because they want to hold on to this person? Do they do if they hit certain benchmarks? Like, what have you seen?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Of course, it's very customizable.
Yeah.
At least what Reins does, we call ourselves curated, not custom. So I think historically one of the challenges with this stuff is that it's just so esoteric, so overly complicated. And even with the best intentions in mind, folks tend to overcomplicate it.
Right.
But the way I would say sort of like a down the fairway type of plan is the phantom stock. So the long-term incentive, we'll call it.
Yeah.
That is, anywhere from 10 to 20% of the business set aside.
Yeah.
Granted to maybe 15 to 20% of your key folks,
Okay.
top performers. So management, often lead technicians or
Really?
office staff that may not also have performance pay. There tends to be a gap there.
Yes.
Right.
Big time.
So it gets them to think long term.
Yeah.
And then the way it's set up is it vests over a number of years and it gets paid if you sell.
Yeah.
Often forfeit if the employee leaves.
Right. Which is a nice benefit.
Before. It is. It's safe. It's safer, right,
Yes.
for the contractor. And then we layer on a short-term incentive.
Okay.
So that could be the profit sharing piece. Now, that tends to be anywhere from like 20% of the staff to 100.
Yeah.
So that gets shared more widely. Not to say that the phantom stock couldn't be.
Right.
And the profit sharing is really cool because the most popular setup we see is a pool model.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your audience will appreciate this. It's all performance based, no entitlement. So the way it works is, let's say on a quarterly basis, the company sets a goal.
Yeah.
Let's say we need to maintain a 15% net margin or a 60% gross margin. If that goal is hit, we will unlock some percentage of profits to share amongst the employees.
Yeah.
Then beneath that, there may be individual KPIs those employees need to meet in order to earn their share.
That's very cool.
And then it can be customized.
Yeah. How do they track? How does the employee? Because you're like, I want to see this, right? Like we all want to check our investments. So, how do you have some kind of a website or something that people can track that?
Absolutely. So, the way I kind of described our framework, right?
Yeah.
And we did a lot of work to create this templated legal framework. That's like half of what we do. The other half is that we have software.
Okay.
We're really first and foremost a technology company.
Yeah.
So the first half is like if you're familiar with like Trust in Will or Legal Zoom, you go online, you get a will. We've created a very nice like drop down menu type of system with the help of our human support to create and set up a plan.
Yeah.
But from there, now you've got these stakeholders, and like you said, they want to keep tabs on what their equity's worth,
for sure,
what they need to do in order to earn the incentives.
Yeah.
So we have an app on your phone that
cool.
you can log in, kind of like Robinhood or Coinbase or something like that. You can log in, and we connect with Service Titan and QuickBooks. So in real time, employees can see like how close they are to goal.
Yeah.
And of course, what that translates to into dollars in their pocket or value in their equity that may turn into cash later on.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an immediate, hey, we hit the number, boom, look at, I get that reward.
Exactly.
You mentioned that you onboard, right? You went to, what is that? That's intriguing to me. What is your onboarding? Like, what is that like? Because again, I'm assuming you got to educate these people on what the heck this is, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take the words out of your mouth, but go ahead.
No. So we take like I said, it sounds like a service offering because that's how it's traditionally solved. You go to an attorney, you spend $30,000,
right?
You get some fancy paperwork drawn up, and then that's all it is. It's paper that collects dust in a filing cabinet. No one really understands it. No one really trusts it.
Sure.
So with us, that's where that framework came in, and then we knew we had to layer on white glove human support.
Yeah.
So not only are we there helping you sort of design your programs, but in most cases we'll actually come out to you in person and we will help roll this out in person to your employees. And so really the way we like to describe it is we have the owners and the management of the company, whoever's involved in sort of setting this up, they explain the why. Get the employees excited about why you're doing this, right? Is it some exit that may be 5 years in the future? Is it we just want to hit these growth goals? Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah.
And then we come in and we explain the incentives, what they mean, how they work, and how folks can actually keep track of what's important.
Yeah. What are a lot of the common questions you get from the folks when you're sitting there explaining this?
Hey, sorry to interrupt, Bob here. Quick question. Would you like a slice of the $10 million Certain Path helps contractors put back into their pockets every year? I talk to contractors all the time. Customers are spending less. Margins are shrinking. So how do you protect your profits? You buy better. At Certain Path, we give you access to all sorts of things. World-class coaching, training for every single role in your company, the largest home services community in the industry, over 1,200 members, and most importantly, 120 vendor partners you already use, equipment, financing, marketing, so much more. We negotiate exclusive discounts and rebates, over 10 million in rebates alone, and it grows every single year. So if you want to compete with private equity, you have to buy like private equity, and that's where we come in. The best part, savings and rebates can more than cover your membership. Everything else is icing on the cake. Want in? Click a link in the description. Book your free discovery call with one of our coaches and my friends, Mike or Will. One conversation could save you tens of thousands of dollars every year. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, from the employees?
Yeah.
From the employees, they're often quite quiet.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, they're processing. We actually get a lot of folks that are very subtly excited, and then we'll get some questions after we've left.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They just want to understand like what do they need to do to earn these things and how they're going to be updated on it. What happens if they leave? And in that case, it's often unique. Yeah. Like it's how the owner set it up. It's not one answer. And so that's another reason why it's important. We've done it so specific where we'll do a one-on-one with each employee in a rollout because the owner's wanting to specify to customize the incentive for each person.
Yeah. What's that process look like, that customization? So let's say we meet at a vendor show and I'm like, Chris, I'm on board. I think this is a great thing. But how do you coach them through making the right decisions or how to get them, hey, have you thought about this person or what's that look like?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. So, when I asked employee or owner, the owner's questions are they're the same.
Yeah.
They're always
all the same?
Yeah. So like number one question, how much do I give and to who?
That's pretty straightforward. It makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. So, number one thing is we always tell folks, you don't have to have all those answers before signing up. I think folks think they do, but that's what we're here to help with.
Sure.
Right? And that's why I hesitate to say we're a technology company because we don't just give you the software and then let you, go on with your own devices. We have, we have a lot of AI that can leverage the data across the contractors in our system. Another reason why focusing on contractors is so important is we can say, well, in your industry, here's what folks at your size and stage are doing. So we use data and technology to help. And then it's a lot of consultation. So some exercises will walk the folks through how much do you want to sell for?
Yeah.
How much or when do you think you could sell? In that sale, what do you think you'd part way with?
Yeah.
And then who are the folks that you think are going to help you get there?
Yeah.
Either the folks that you currently have employed in the business or folks that you need to bring on strategically to get you to that milestone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the exercises we'll walk folks through.
How have you seen companies respond once you implement what you guys offer and all of a sudden everyone's moving in rowing the boat in the same direction, if you will, right? What's the response then?
It's amazing. Like the best contractors, like with or without Reins, are ones that are super transparent. We just tend to find one another because the folks that are talking about their company goals and talking about metrics and very transparent about what's under the hood are also not so surprisingly the customers that want to roll out something like Reins. And so this just bolsters that culture.
Yeah.
Some really cool things that we've seen like sort of in the trenches with specific employees. They'll show their spouse and they'll say, "Oh wow, like, you have a career, like you have a real skin in the game here."
And unfortunately, that in the trades, a lot of people don't think of it that way.
No, that's exactly right. So it's a real thing that makes a small independent business look like a big company.
Yeah.
Just things like that.
Yeah, that's great. Is it mostly the ones that have success setting quarterly goals or monthly goals, or how do you see people award it?
Yeah, it's
Maybe a mix.
It's definitely a mix. People sleep on the long-term incentive, I think, because they're afraid of the equity word, and I think historically it's been demonized and it's been very complicated to set up.
Right.
That's the one that provides the most impact.
Yeah.
The other thing I was gonna say was there's so many folks that will set this up that aren't really planning to sell.
Right.
There's a lot of folks that are,
but
there's a lot of folks that they don't have like a 5-year exit plan.
Right.
In fact, some folks think that they'll never sell.
Right.
But the employees don't know that.
Right.
Even if you said it, the employees don't know it. We did a rollout for a customer in Georgia, and the owner was explaining his why, and he was saying how he just wants everyone to be assured that he's not planning to sell. And then I asked the room, did anyone work for a business where the owner said that they weren't planning to sell? And a couple people raised their hand. One woman in particular, she had just joined this company from a company that sold the PE. And I asked her, I said, did your owner say that they weren't going to sell? She said, absolutely. So it's an insurance policy, if anything, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge point of impact.
I love it. I love it. What's the response been? How's the market? Is it getting a lot of interest at shows like these?
It is. It is. Certain Path has been incredible.
Yeah.
Contractors in this group are super engaged.
Yeah.
The partner expo here in Cabo was amazing. The thing and this is why I'm so grateful for folks like you for having me on. Our challenge is just getting the word out.
Right.
It's about education. It's not not, this isn't to be derogatory against other vendors, but like everyone knows about SEO and like marketing agencies, like, you know what I mean? Like everyone knows
what it is.
The problem isn't awareness.
Right.
Our challenge is awareness and getting folks to know that these amazing incentives are out there. And so we're just here to spread the good word. And we know that it'll come back to us if we just provide value through education. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you noticed your contractors' retention levels have gone up?
That's a really good question. So we just pulled some data the other day, and it actually shocked the shit out of us.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, 94% of employees who have been granted an incentive in Reins are still employed.
Wow. I mean, the turnover in the trades, it's like at 2.5 years, I want to say.
Yes.
So that's...
Yeah, and the sort of like, whatever it is, Harvard stat is something in the neighborhood of 40 to 50% increase in retention with equity or profit sharing incentives. But the cooler one is the real data that we have.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any neat success stories or, members or contractors? You don't have to name names. They're like, hey, I was worried about keeping key people, and all of a sudden, like, everyone's pulling in the right direction. We're hitting goals.
Yeah, I feel like it's so our number one use case, if you will, is contractors will call us because they have like a back of the napkin agreement with someone, or a handshake.
Right.
And so to see those get solidified and the excitement, and then have it kind of inspire the owner to expand broader than that one or two folks that they've promised to, because now they understand how to do it, and that it's not that complicated, and it's not that scary, and it's actually really good for their business.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of like the common story, and that's true for a lot of the Certain Path folks that have joined Reins.
That's cool. So if I can come to you today and go, I want to start this, how long is the process? What does it look like, just from a 30,000 foot view?
Yeah, so this is a huge common misconception, because I think historically you'd have to get set up with an attorney. Right. It's very costly.
Sure.
To your point, or what you're alluding to, is like months of planning and prep.
Yeah.
I almost say it hesitantly because it's so simple. So you can hit us up, go to our website, myreins.com, and you book a call with us. And if you sign up, over the course of 2, maybe 3 Zoom calls at most, we've got your plan designed, your stakeholders set up, and we're ready to click like the big go button.
Yeah.
The big go button is like, in Reins, we actually do all of the paperwork and illegal documentation. And so that's usually coincides with the employee rollout.
Yeah.
And so everything's signed electronically and stored within the Reins platform.
Yeah.
And so, however long it takes you to do those 2 or 3 calls with us, that's as long as it takes. We've had it done in a week. We've had it take 3 months if folks want to take 3 months, right? And then from there, we do the employee rollout, and then on an annual basis, we'll help you rejig your programs to the extent that you need to for the short-term incentives.
Very good. So there's that continuing support.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. One more time. How do people find you?
myreins.com.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
The Successful Contractor podcast is part of the Certain Path family. Certain Path builds successful home service businesses and has for 25 years. We do it by providing contractors with a proven path to success, professional coaching, software solutions, and a member community of 1,000 plus strong. Doubling your sales with a 20% net profit and an inspiring company culture is all possible. Let us show you the way. With Certain Path, success is made certain. Visit www.mycertainpath.com for more information.